In addition to having one of the best walk-up songs in the league, Xander Bogaerts is a pretty good baseball player, but his talents seem to be underappreciated by just about everyone. Let's talk about that. My name is Bobby, and welcome back to another edition of Stat Stories. Let's begin with the perception of Bogaerts. MLB Network ranked him as the 46th best player in the league heading into 2019 and the 5th best shortstop. Oddly enough, in their top 10 shortstops list compiled by The Shredder, he wasn't even in the top 10. My guess is because it was due to defense, but I'll touch on that later. Even on his own team, he's overshadowed by stars like Mookie Betts and JD Martinez, but I think the Red Sox appreciate him a lot. After Nomar Garciaparra was traded in 2004, the Red Sox had a revolving door of shortstops. Here is everyone that played significant time at the position each year until 2013. Over this 10-year span, the 12 shortstops you see all made at least 50 starts at the position, with just Julio Lugo and Marco Scutaro making over 200 starts. To win 3 World Series over this span with no consistency at the position is pretty remarkable. But it's always nice to have a position locked down long term, and that's where Bogaerts comes in. He debuted in 2013 and played his first full season the next year while just 21 years old. Let's look at how he's developed. First off, his walk rate has gone from well below average all the way up to 11.2%, with league average being around 8.5%. By the way, all stats are from Fangraphs, and 2019 stats are accurate as of August 17th. Weighted on base average has gone up for the most part, with just a down year in 2017. Weighted runs created plus tells the same story. This can be attributed to an increase in extra base hits, and most notably, an increase in home runs, where he's already set a career high in 2019. Now, how about WAR? Bogaerts has consistently been an all-star caliber shortstop, and now in 2019, he's moving into the MVP category. One other thing I want to point out is his batted balls and plate discipline. You'll see that his soft contact is going down, and his hard contact is going up. Obviously, that's going to lead to better results. As for his discipline, Bogaerts has gotten better at swinging and missing less, but more importantly, he is chasing far fewer pitches out of the strike zone. Now, I mentioned earlier about defense, and Bogaerts is a tough one to read at first glance. Ultimate zone rating and defensive runs saved are similarly calculated defensive metrics that say how many runs a player saved or cost his team. Sometimes these two metrics disagree, but in Bogaerts' case, they disagree by a lot. By one measure, he's an average to slightly above average fielder, and by the other, he's the worst defensive shortstop in the league. I went through lots of other defensive stats to get a better answer, and I arrived at this conclusion. Bogaerts is an average defensive shortstop who makes the routine plays but doesn't make the challenging plays that the elite defenders do. And honestly, I can't explain why his defensive runs saved was so poor when by all other measures, he's relatively average. So if you have an answer for that, please leave a comment. Let's talk about other shortstops now and how Bogaerts compares. We're going to look at 2015 to 2019 data, and first up is games played. Bogaerts is second behind only Freddie Galvis. I should note that Manny Machado is not considered a shortstop for these rankings. Otherwise, you would definitely see him here. Weighted on base average, Bogaerts is 5th, and in weighted runs created plus, he ranks 4th. Interestingly, he ranks 2nd by Fangraphs base running metric, behind speedster Trey Turner. Bogaerts is not an elite base stealer, but he does run efficiently, with 50 stolen bases over this time period with just 10 times caught stealing. And now for the big one, wins above replacement, and Bogaerts is 2nd to only the great Francisco Lindor. If you want to know where Xander ranks in the traditional stats, I'll cover that too. He's 6th in homers, 1st in runs, 1st in RBI, 1st in doubles, 1st in batting average, and 2nd in on-base percentage. Throw in his average defense, and yeah, Bogaerts appears to be pretty good. But we're still selling him short. Bogaerts has been elite since 2018. Among shortstops, he has the best walk percentage, best batting average, best on-base percentage, 3rd best slugging percentage, 4th in home runs, 2nd best weighted on-base average, best weighted runs created plus, and 2nd best WAR. Again, I know defense is important at shortstop, but with offensive production this good, Bogaerts is probably the 2nd best shortstop in the game behind Lindor. Let's look at the entire league now over the past 2 seasons. These ranks are out of 128 qualified hitters, and we'll start from the top. 38th, 15th, 22nd, 15th, 35th, 17th, 16th, and 9th. It can be a bit more difficult to quantify these ranks, so here they are as percentiles. Bogaerts is in the 85th percentile or higher for most of these, which would indicate he is definitely a top 20 hitter in the league, maybe even top 10. But again, we can't sell ourselves short here. Out of all the stats I just listed out, only 3 players rank above Bogaerts in each category: Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, and Christian Yelich. In other words, the best player of his generation and the 2018 MVP winners. And Trout and Yelich could win the 2019 MVP awards, so you could say that to be better than Xander Bogaerts, you have to be named MVP. So what have we learned today? Well, Xander Bogaerts has been a very good player since his breakout season in 2015, and has really turned it up a notch since 2018. Offensively, he's only bettered by the few truly elite hitters in the game. As far as shortstops go, he very well may be the best hitter, but his average defense prevents him from being the top player at the position. He's also just 26 years old in 2019, and continues to get better in all aspects of the game. So who knows what the ceiling will be for Bogaerts. So that ends this episode. Do you think Xander Bogaerts is underrated? Comment below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share, and help Outta Here Baseball grow by hitting that subscribe button. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.